Hello class. Before we start on a colossal number of videos reviewing and expanding on what you know about masks and how they work in Photoshop, I wanted to show you what your end goal for this week is, which is to produce a postcard. And you'll be using masks to collage things together, but I also want you to show off what you're capable of in Photoshop. Now, to make things a little more interesting, I waited to record this video until everything else was recorded, so I can also show you the postcard that I will be demonstrating in the next series of videos. If you're crunched for time, read the descriptions. You can see what's going on. If you feel as though you know it, you can skip over them, come back to them later. That will be fine. This week's assignment is really about showing me what you're capable of, but the minimum requirements do require a certain number of layers and to do some masking. So in this case, the student used masks to create text on, use type to be a mask on a background, which I thought was very nice. And if we were to cancel that out, we could see that he used Egyptian themed photographs in order to create this. I'll show you ways of making that throughout it. But as it stands, here's just a nice little postcard. He cut out the camel and he put in some backgrounds, pyramids, and also of the sun itself. So good job on that. Let's close this up. Here's one from Greetings from San Francisco, California, with just some imagery going along. Again, he put some imagery in the text. He did some bezeling, which is an effect, and some additional work like that. And again, another nice piece of work. I thought this was fun. It was a large number of complex masks to create this postcard. I thought it was quite amusing. It worked out pretty well. I've seen postcards like this at some tourist traps, so that was fun as well. This is one of my favorites. You've got this fish flying through the air, some text that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There are some adjustments that could have been made. For example, if the planes had either gotten bigger as they moved towards us or smaller as they moved into the background, just to add some depth. But I do love the giant fish flying through the air being warded off by some fighter planes. See that he masked those off to meet the requirements there as well, including mask on the fish. And he had text as well, so he met all the requirements for everything. Here's a more complicated one as well, with water splashing up. It's a lot of transformed text to get it at angles so that it will fit on the building. The frame around it could have been a little more uniform. As you can see, it goes off on the side, so watch out for that when you're doing the frames. But otherwise, this is a really nice piece. The photos were selected to work well together. I like how it's edited on to some photos of Modesto Junior College itself. So I thought that was quite nice as well. Here's just kind of a classy Switzerland style postcard that was made last semester. The blue's blending in a bit with a few things, so there are some things that could have been done to work that out. The text could have been made a little more legible as well, but otherwise you could see that he started going in. Now, one thing about this particular one, it was on the right track. He accidentally merged on some of the masks, which cost him a lot of points. So I wanted to bring this up to alert you. Don't merge your masks together. You'll want to keep your masks so that I can take a look at them and let you know what's going on with it. But he did a good job cutting it out. It's just that he accidentally applied it. So don't do that by accident. Make sure you leave the masks unmerged when you turn it in. This one, I just liked how he selected different pieces to go together. There was some work that needed to be done up on the night, and the text was a little hard to read, but it was a surprising number of photos that blended nicely together, especially in the sky, using gradated masks to blend things in. Actually, I believe this is an upside-down castle that's blended in with some blending modes and things like that. He did some impressive work on that, so that's a lot of fun as well. Just close that one up. This looks like something you could pick up in San Diego. I love the dog. It's not actually included with the skateboard. He did that entirely as a separate item, but he just blended everything together so nicely. It worked out very well. Come see the reptiles. This looks like, again, a postcard you could see sold somewhere. The text, again, is a little hard to read. Watch out for that. In some cases, you'll just need to add an outline, and I'll show you how to do that in this class so that it becomes legible. So, yeah, cut out all of the little reptiles. It was good to go. A snake, a lizard, and a tortoise, I believe. Close that one up. This one's crazy, and I love it. Everything's chopped up, but it looks like the kind of postcard you'd see. They did a lot of transformations to get everything to work, and then they cut it out after the fact, so they knew if they didn't have to do extra work, then they wouldn't do extra work, so they're very conservative with their time, which was smart. They applied effects on it that they knew from the previous class so that they could get everything going on. So I thought that was a nice touch, bringing things back. Text is legible. A lot of fun things to look at, a lot going on. Composition's all right. There's a lot that could be done to make the composition a little bit tighter. But for this assignment, that's not terribly important. I will talk about what you could do to improve your compositions after I get it, but I won't be knocking points off for that, so don't worry about that. It's just a way to improve it later if you feel the need. So we'll go in. This one I absolutely love. One thing that caught my eye, I did not notice the first time that the tent was masked out. When the first time I looked at it, it wasn't until I was going through the layers. Great font for the Yosemite National Park. It looks like the sort of thing that they'd have on the sign. Wonderful job cutting out the birds as well. It was very, very careful work to get everything in on it. I need to stop pressing that button. This is very, very good work. Looks like a postcard. Love it. Really, really gorgeous. That one's top of the line, A material. This is fun. I was surprised at some of the things that were masked in. Like on the shirt, for example, she attached text to herself. There were some glitches with the mask that happened over here that could have done a little more work, but overall it's very good. I don't think that this green was necessarily appropriate. It was sampled straight from inside this poster, but maybe something a little lighter would have worked a little bit better. It could have reflected off the fish, that kind of thing. But overall, successful image. And good work with the masks. She utilized grouping to show how everything was going. She didn't go over the maximum number of layers or any of that, so it was a good job. This is wonderful. I love this snail, and I use it as a demonstration quite frequently. The student caught on to that and put it in so that, oh wait, this wasn't a student, this was me. That's why I have that snail. Well, never mind. It's like, oh, this student knows what's going on. Well, yeah, because it's me. So I'm going to show you how to do something like this for this recording. In fact, I've got it completed right here. Masking demo. We'll just be making a kind of simpler version of that. We'll be spending a lot of time on the masks. You generally don't need to spend as much time masking as I will be doing, but I want to show you how to get this to work so that you can get a bunch of different tools at your disposal. We'll cover, so many different ways to mask. And then we'll lightly touch on text and some things you could do to make the text legible. I'm going to close that. I've got a couple more minutes before I want to stop this, so let me show you some older postcards. I think that these are quite good. I enjoyed this one a lot. This is just a JPEG version. I usually upload these or a selection of these online. You can see them in the forum. Nice text edit. Each letter is its own piece going on in here. So I'll show you how to do this. It's called a clipping mask. It worked out really well. This is great. This is the kind of postcard that I would expect to see at a college bookstore. This one is, honestly, it hits all the marks, all the requirements, and it looks like the sort of thing that you would expect in real life. So this was really well done. Same here. I think that this is an excellent postcard for it. I probably would have worked on the text. The "your" as a little difficult to read. Having an outline around these would have resolved that issue. I love wildlife, so having the seagull in here cracked me up. I really enjoyed this. This is a lower resolution image that I have saved, so it's a little grainy, but that's not the case in the one that you turned in. This one was a very complicated series of masks in order to create these stripes, which really showed off what she was doing. She kept pushing it herself throughout the semester as well. She produced a lot of excellent work. I really do like this one as well. It does also look like a postcard. I like that they put a little stamp on it to make it look like someone canceled out the stamp, even though it would be on the other side, but that's pretty cool. It's a little hard to read the Glacier National Park because of the text. It might have been good to darken this up a little bit, but it's still legible. Good job with the masks on the animals. This one, all of these objects that he put on, the text inside of it, it was absolutely a great job. And it's also why it's important to turn in Photoshop files because I would not have known where what was. He blended in a lot of things that I thought were part of the image and were not, but it's a good job. This is also an excellent one. I've seen postcards like this in tourist traps. This is amazing. I think that shows great layout, great sense of color. He actually did some Photoshop work to tie these together, all sorts of good stuff. I really enjoy that. This one is also beautiful and very well done. A number of very subtle and careful masks were done to assemble this card. A little signature in the corner was a nice touch too. Great balance, great sense of design. Throughout it, again, I won't be grading you on design, but I will be working through how you can improve it. While I say I won't be grading you on design, if you do have a bad design, you're probably not going to get 100% because that last 10% of the grade is at my discretion. So, you know, make it look good. If something looks wrong, don't worry, you can still get an A as long as you hit all the requirements, but you're probably not going to get 100%. That's kind of the deal. A lot of filter effects were used on this one to get this. I thought that was quite excellent. He was showing off his skills in Photoshop, which I really liked. I like this one. It was a nice touch. He filtered out the stamp. He masked out the stamp, the stamp on top of the stamp, the text, all of these sort of things. There were a lot of things that could be done with differently with the composition to really bring things together, but showing off the masks was excellent. He showed off a lot of the techniques and tools that he would be using throughout the rest of the semester. So that's quite good. And this one I think is excellent. This text could have had a little more pizzazz to it, especially after the amazing job with each of the letters being used as a clipping mask. I thought that was great. And then this one's just really showing off a lot of skill in merging images together using blending modes, filters, that sort of stuff. Really showing where he was strong in Photoshop. So that helped me calibrate what I should be aiming for on that. And this was just wonderful composition. I think that the head could have been worked in a little bit better, but otherwise it was a great job on the mask. It's really solid work. Again, this one is just amazing. The squirrel needed some work on it. I think that was about where the points were lost, was the mask on this was a bit messy. Same with the tree. It could have been tightened up in there. But the rest of this, great use of fonts. She'd actually assembled these fonts from different places. It wasn't just like one, copy-paste job. I believe she did an Illustrator and then popped it in. So that was quite good. And this was a fun one. Someone did the back of a postcard, which I just wanted to show you guys. You guys can get clever on these. Did a number of masking techniques in order to get everything together and meet the layer requirement. But it was a clever solution to the problem presented. So I hope that gives you an idea of what what we're going to be moving towards for the postcard assignment, the Greetings from MJC assignment here. I wanted to give you an idea of what we're going to be going over as well. And that's going to be masking, and more masking up until the last 2 or 3 videos. There are a lot of techniques in masking, which is one of the reasons why I spend so much time talking about it here. Honestly, you can do 8 or 10 hours just on masking alone. And truth be told, on a lot of these, close enough was good enough. I stopped where it was, but you guys in the professional field can keep going. Especially on the lion, there were a lot of things I could do, and there's a line that I cut out. There are a lot of things that I could do to remove a lot of green text and things, but I haven't shown you those tools yet. So I don't do that yet in this assignment. So that's going to be sort of a theme on the first few weeks. There are things that will look partially unfinished because I haven't shown you the tools yet that will let you finish it, and I don't expect you to have those. If you have them and you do them, then that will amaze me. I will love it. But if you don't worry about it. I don't expect you to know things I haven't shown you. So I will hope that you do. I hope that you're interested enough in this and that you happen to have enough time to be able to research these things and all that. But sometimes you just don't have the time, and so I try not to expect what I haven't shown you to be a tool you have. And that will kind of be a theme as we go through this semester. So buckle in for a crazy number of videos. There are only a few assignments that have, honestly, this many videos, but getting in, I guess the second week's a good time to do it so you can have an idea of what a crunch week would look like here in this class. And we can get started by diving into the deep end, which is channels and masks. Enjoy the next few videos. And if you have any questions, please ask me. Just post them in the forum. or you can, if you're shy, just message me privately. I'll be happy to talk about whatever problems you have and what solutions I have for them. So until next time, have fun.